Okay, this video is the Tower Process part 28, I think. I forgot to look. But anyway, and it's about relationship spread. And this is because someone, Beatrice, emailed me to say she had done a spread about a friendship, and the likely outcome card was the Queen of Batons, and she wasn't sure what it meant. So I thought this would be a good example of a general way of going about doing a reading, because I emailed her back and asked her 4 questions. And the first one was, was it a question, and what was the exact wording of the question? And a lot of people think this is not that important, but let's say I say to you, what's going to happen in this relationship that I'm involved in? And you say to me, it's not going to work because you're not compatible. Okay. Then I say to you, okay, but what can I do to make it work? The answer is not, it's not going to work, you're not compatible, because that's not what I want to know. I want to know, how am I going to be able to make it work? What changes can I make? Or what can I do to make the relationship better? So the answer is not, no, it's not going to work. And then the question might be, I might then ask, what went wrong? How come we got into this difficult situation in the first place? And the answer is not, you're not compatible, it's not going to work. So the question's important, and I think what we do is, knowing the question, you pick a card and then you figure out what sense that card makes in the answer to that question. So let's say the question is, what's going to happen with this relationship? And you get the 3 of Cups. It's going to be good. You're going to have reason to celebrate. You'll be dancing. You'll be in harmony with each other, right? Something like that. Then the question might be, how can I make this relationship better? And you get the 3 of Cups. So what do? Be social, be sociable, invite other people around, go out for dinner, do something that's friendly and warm, and celebrate something. Maybe you go and celebrate the fact that you've been going out for however long you've been going out for. So find some kind of reason to celebrate, and that's going to make an improvement in the relationship. But then if the question is, what went wrong? How come we got to this difficult situation? And you get that 3 of Cups again. So it's probably not that you celebrated too much, although that could be it. But maybe, you know how sometimes if something isn't the way you want it, you keep your fingers crossed and you hope it'll go away. So with the 3 of, what went wrong in the relationship, there was too much of, let's not deal with the problem or the situation, it'll go away on its own, but it won't, or it didn't. So the question matters, the wording of the question matters. So I wanted to know from Beatrice, was there a question? And what was the exact wording of the question? Question 2 was, does she use reverse cards or not? And she doesn't, or she didn't, but I think she ought to. Because one of the second card that represents the other person in the friendship happens to be the Hermit, and I'll get to that in a bit. But if you normally use reverse cards and the Hermit appears upright, then you know that the person willingly isolated themselves. Whereas if it had been the Hermit reversed, then they would have been forced into being on their own. And that's a difference. And it also will affect the way that you treat them and the way you deal with them. Whereas if you never use reverse cards, how are you going to know if the person's happy being on their own? Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you use reverse cards normally, then if the card appears upright, then you know you can take one kind of interpretation because it didn't appear upside down. So Beatrice doesn't use reverse cards. The third question was, what was the fourth question? Sorry. Oh, yeah, the third question was, is there a friendship with a man or a woman? And this was because the last card was the Queen of Batons, and Beatrice is a woman. So if the question was about a friendship with a man, the final outcome is in the hands of the woman, right? So Beatrice gets to control what's going to happen in the future or how it's going to end up. But it turns out that the friendship is with another woman, so we don't know. It's in the hands of a woman, but they're both women, so who's in control, or who potentially is going to make the decisive move or the deciding argument. And the fourth question was, what were the other cards? So what Beatrice had done was she'd got this relationship spread from somewhere. And if you've watched videos of mine, you know that I don't like most spreads. Yes, no, 3 or 5 card. Past, present, and future, a Celtic cross and a horoscope spread, that's it. All these other ones where you figure out the unconscious fears and can't do it. Okay, so Beatrice's spread was 5 cards. Card 1 was you, the questioner. Card 2 was them, the other person in the relationship. Card 3 was the relationship itself. Card 4 was advice, and card 5 was the likely outcome, which seems okay, except when you actually look at it, it's really not very good. So card 1 was the 5 of batons. And so that represents Beatrice. So what's Beatrice's state of mind, or where is she at the moment when it comes to the friendship, right? So 5 batons can represent 5 different ideas that she's got about the relationship itself and maybe how it should develop. But she's kind of not at war with herself, but she's undecided, or she's got multiple different possible ideas or multiple different possible approaches she could take to the friend and the friendship. And I'll come back to that at the end. The second card represents the questioner. It's them. So we get the Hermit. So that was what I was meaning about, is it upright or reverse? If the Hermit is actually upright, you would normally use reverse cards. But the Hermit is upright, then the person has willingly and voluntarily isolated themselves. Right, so what they for one reason or another, they've gone into a cave, right, and they want to be left alone. They want to be alone, probably so they can think things through and make some decisions or come to some conclusions. So if the Hermit had been upside down, then it's a different story. Yes, they're on their own, but they don't like it, or they were forced to be on their own, or for one reason or another, they found themselves isolated from other people. So if the Hermit's upright and you approach them, they're not going to like it because they wanted to be alone because the card was upright. If the Hermit's upside down and you approach them, they're going to welcome you because they don't like being on their own. They don't like being alone, and they feel isolated and cut off. So they're going to welcome approaches from other people. So for Beatrice, what does she do? Does she reach out to the friend? And because the friend is represented by the Hermit, probably not at the moment. Whereas if the Hermit had been reversed, then yes, by all means reach out. The third card was the relationship. And so we've got the 5 of Cups, and that shows 3 cups knocked over and 2 that remain. So the relationship itself is half broken. It's a little bit more than half broken because 3 cups have been knocked over and 2 cups remain. So it's not totally dead, but it's damaged. And if you're going to fix the damage, you have to turn 180 degrees, because if you turn and look at things from a different angle, a different perspective, then you've got 2 upright cups. So the relationship or the friendship can be salvaged. There can be reason to celebrate with the cups upright, but they're behind you. So it's up to Beatrice, I think, to look at the relationship, and maybe she's got 5 batons at the beginning, and maybe what she does is she picks 5 cups, 5 batons, just occurred to me just now. So maybe what she does is she finds 3 reasons why it didn't go well, and 2 reasons how to make it better, or 2 reasons or 2 possibilities of how to bring about an improvement. But it involves looking at the relationship from a different point of view, which can give us a general idea of why do we need other people. And I've said before in other videos, and this is based on a horoscope, we need other people because they teach us about us. So when we have a problem with somebody else, we've really got a problem with us, but we don't realize it. So if you have a problem with somebody else, turn the spotlight on you and figure out what ideas you have about you are incorrect, or need to be updated, or need to be changed, or need to be got rid of. The advice card was the King of Cups. So, I don't know. Get control of your emotions. The king is sitting and he's got a cup. Maybe do nothing because the king is sitting. If it had been the 8 of Cups walking away, then introduce an element of change into the friendship. But the king is sitting, so maybe do nothing, and maybe just control your emotions. Because Beatrice may want to get in touch with the person, but what does she do? The friend is represented by the hermit. They want to be left alone, so leave them alone. And if they come back, which they probably will, I don't know if they will or not, they might. Or maybe what you do with the King of Cups is find a father figure role model person and tell them what's going on and see what kind of feedback you get from that person. Only because the King of Cups and is an older person. But the final card was the likely outcome was the Queen of Batons. So it's a queen, so the outcome is in the hands of a queen. But if you remember, the first card was the 5 of Batons, the same suit as a queen at the end. So I think that Queen of Batons at the end means that Beatrice has the final say, or is going to be able to bring the friendship back if that's what she decides she wants, or she's going to be able to learn something from the experience of the friendship breaking down or being changed, or whatever it happens to be. So I think with this Queen of Batons at the end, the final outcome is in the hands of a woman. And because it's a queen, and queens give orders, or queens ought to be able to give orders, maybe Beatrice thinks about what she actually wants from people and from this particular individual. And when she knows what she wants, and what she wants may not be what she thinks at the moment, right? Because if, going back to that 5 of Batons, if she thinks things through a bit, and because one of the words that can go with this 5 of Batons is reformation. So in a lot of ways, Beatrice is meant to reform herself, and a reformation of the self can come about through thinking about the friendship and what they've been through and what worked and what didn't work and what she wants more of and what she doesn't want in a friendship anymore. And so if Beatrice can become clear about what she's looking for in a friendship, then she'll handle the ongoing relationship better, or she'll handle it well, because she, as a Queen of Batons, as a final outcome, is going to know what to do to handle the situation well. Because sometimes we don't. Sometimes we handle things badly. But if you learn from it, it wasn't a mistake. Okay, that's it for the moment. Thank you for watching. I'll be back in a few days. Okay, bye-bye.